While American manufacturers were busy building bigger and Americans were chasing horsepower records, something extraordinary was happening in the factories of Germany, Italy, and France. European engineers were quietly rethinking everything the dozer industry thought it knew, eliminating clutches, reinventing drive systems, and building machines so advanced that North American contractors had never seen anything like them. Some became legends, some became forgotten. All of them shocked the world. Here are 10 European dozers from the 1980s that most people have completely forgotten, but absolutely should not have. Number 10. Hanomag D600K. Before we get into the biggest players, we need to acknowledge a brand that has been almost completely erased from the dozer world outside of Europe: Hanomag. The Hannoversche Maschinenbau AG, known universally as Hanomag, was one of Germany's oldest and most respected engineering companies, tracing its roots back to 1835 when Georg Egerstorff founded a factory in Linden near Hanover to build steam engines. By 1931, Hanomag had moved into construction machinery, and by the 1980s, they were producing a comprehensive range of crawler dozers that were genuinely competitive with anything coming out of Peoria or Tokyo. The Hanomag D600K was a capable medium-sized crawler dozer produced through the 1980s with around 180 horsepower from its Hanomag diesel engine. With an operating weight of approximately 23,000 kilograms, it competed in the same class as the Caterpillar D6 and Komatsu D65, but with a distinctly European character, precise controls, excellent operator ergonomics, and build quality that reflected German engineering standards. The D600K and its sister models, the D500E and D540E, were used across European construction sites for road building, mining, and land reclamation. But Hanomag's story ends in a surprising place. In 1989, right at the close of the decade, Komatsu acquired Hanomag's construction equipment division. The machines were quickly rebranded and absorbed into Komatsu's global lineup, and the Hanomag name effectively disappeared from the crawler dozer market. The company that had been building earth-moving equipment for decades was swallowed so quietly that most of the industry barely noticed. A great German dozer brand absorbed without ceremony. Number 9. O&K B80 Orenstein Koppel. Better known simply as O&K, was a German engineering giant founded in Berlin in 1876 by Benno Orenstein and Arthur Koppel. The company built locomotives, escalators, bucket wheel excavators, and construction equipment, and it became a formidable force in the earth-moving market through the post-war decades. In 1961, O&K manufactured the first fully hydraulic excavator series produced in Europe, the RH5, and that expertise in hydraulic engineering carried through into their other product lines. The O&K B80 was one of their mid-range crawler dozers from the 1980s, part of a lineup that competed across multiple size classes in the European market. O&K dozers were known for their robust hydraulic systems, which benefited directly from the company's excavator engineering expertise. The same hydraulic design principles that made O&K's excavators so effective translated directly into responsive, precise blade control on their crawler dozers, something operators noticed immediately when they climbed into the cab. O&K pulled out of the railway business in 1981 to focus entirely on construction equipment, which should have signaled a stronger commitment to the dozer market. The company also acquired V&H, a German manufacturer of off-highway dump trucks, in 1986, expanding its heavy equipment range at a time when many competitors were contracting. In 1961, O&K had manufactured the first fully hydraulic excavator series in Europe, and by the 1980s they had produced over 55,000 hydraulic excavators worldwide. That excavator expertise informed the hydraulic design of their crawler dozer range in ways that gave O&K machines a distinct advantage in blade control precision. In 1998, O&K sold its construction machine business to the Fiat Group. Later, those assets transitioned to New Holland Construction and eventually into Terex. The O&K brand, with over 120 years of engineering heritage behind it, was gradually dismantled and distributed among Fiat's sprawling equipment empire. The dozers were excellent. The company was consumed. Number 8. Fiat-Allis FD30B. When Fiat of Italy and Allis Chalmers of America formed their joint venture in January 1974, creating Fiat-Allis Construction Machinery Inc., It was a merger of two proud engineering traditions. Fiat brought Italian manufacturing precision and a European perspective on machine design. Allis-Chalmers brought decades of experience in heavy crawler dozers. The result, through the late 1970s and into the 1980s, was a range of dozers that were genuinely impressive machines. The Fiat-Allis FD30B was built in Italy and represented the mid-large end of the European range. It was powered by a 340 horsepower Fiat diesel engine and was used extensively on major construction and mining projects across Europe and beyond. The FD30B competed directly with the Caterpillar D8 in power and capability, and in European markets where Fiat's brand recognition was strong and dealer networks were well established, it was a legitimate choice for serious earth-moving contractors. The FD30B benefited from Italian engineering flair. The hydraulic system was excellent. Blade response was considered superior to many competitors, and the cab was thoughtfully designed for long operator shifts. Fiat-Allis also made significant sales into South America and Russia, where the combination of competitive pricing and robust construction made the machines attractive. But the joint venture deteriorated through the 1980s. Allis-Chalmers, struggling financially, disagreed with Fiat over corporate strategy, and in November 1985, Fiat bought out Allis-Chalmers' remaining stake entirely. The North American factory in Springfield, Illinois, was closed in October 1985. The brand evolved through Fiat-Allis, then Fiat Hitachi, then New Holland Construction, losing identity with every name change until the Fiat-Allis dozer heritage was barely recognizable. Number 7. Fiat-Allis FD50. If the FD30B was the mid-range workhorse of the Fiat-Allis dozer lineup, the FD50 was the flagship, a machine that turned heads on every job site it ever visited. The FD50 was the successor to the legendary Allis-Chalmers HD41, itself the world's largest dozer when it debuted in 1970. When Fiat took over the joint venture and modernized the giant crawler tractor program, the result was the FD50. The FD50 weighed approximately 80 metric tons and was powered by a Cummins VT28C engine producing 600 horsepower. The blade was 18 to 20 feet wide and capable of moving enormous volumes of material in applications like strip mining and large-scale land reclamation. For contractors or mining operations that needed maximum pushing power in a machine they could actually service and maintain, as opposed to the ultra-exotic and expensive Komatsu D5075A, the FD50 was an extraordinary value proposition. Dozens of FD50s were sold to Pennsylvania coal mines throughout the 1980s, where they worked in the demanding strip mining environment of the Appalachian coal fields. Large contracts were also signed with Russian buyers and South American mining operations, giving the FD50 a genuinely global reach. Operators who ran them respected the machine's power and its simplicity. The Cummins engine was well proven, and the twin-disc torque converter and transmission were durable components that could be serviced without exotic tooling. The Springfield, Illinois factory that built the big dozers closed in 1985 when Fiat bought out Allis-Chalmers' stake. Production of the FD40 and FD50, the 400 horsepower class and 500 horsepower class machines, was ended entirely. Fiat made the smaller tractors in Italy and Brazil, but stopped manufacturing the giants altogether. The FD50 production run ended in 1989, and with it went one of the most capable European-influenced large dozers ever built. Only a few hundred were ever made, and today they are extraordinarily rare. Number 6. Liebherr PR711C. The Liebherr PR711C represents the beginning of a dozer philosophy that would go on to shake the entire industry, the hydrostatic crawler dozer. Liebherr, founded in 1949 by Hans Liebherr in the German town of Kirchdorf an der Iller, had built its reputation on innovative crane and concrete equipment before moving into earth-moving machines. But it was their hydrostatic drive technology that truly set Liebherr's crawler dozers apart from every competitor. The PR711C was powered by a turbocharged inline 6-cylinder diesel producing 375 horsepower and used a hydrostatic travel drive system. Unlike a conventional dozer with its torque converter, power shift transmission, clutch and brake steering and service brakes, the Liebherr hydrostatic system eliminated all of those components. Power from the diesel engine drove hydraulic pumps, which powered hydraulic motors at each track. To steer, you simply varied the speed of one motor relative to the other. To stop, you returned the control to neutral. The system's self-locking nature held the machine stationary on any slope. This was revolutionary. Conventional dozer drives had torque converters that slipped power, transmissions that wore out, steering clutches that burned up, and brakes that faded. The Liebherr hydrostatic system had none of those weaknesses. It delivered consistent power to both tracks simultaneously, even on side slopes where conventional machines struggled. It required virtually no wear parts in the drivetrain, and it gave the operator infinitely variable speed control without any gear changes. Contractors who used Liebherr crawlers in the 1980s were often stunned by how differently they behaved from conventional machines. The smoothness was unparalleled. The ability to maintain full power at low speeds was exceptional, and the minimal drivetrain wear meant lower maintenance costs over the machine's life. Number 5. Liebherr PR731. Following the groundbreaking PR711C, Liebherr developed the PR731 as a mid-range crawler dozer that brought hydrostatic technology into a more accessible size class. The PR731 was used across European construction sites through the 1980s and demonstrated that the hydrostatic concept worked just as well in demanding day-to-day applications as it did in specialized situations. The PR731 competed with the Caterpillar D6 and Komatsu D65 in European markets, but operators who switched from conventional machines to the Liebherr consistently reported the same experience. The hydrostatic system felt completely different in a way that was immediately, tangibly better. There was no power interruption during direction changes. Full power was available from the moment the control moved, and operating on uneven ground, the system's automatic power equalization between tracks prevented the wheel spin and loss of traction that plagued conventional machines on soft or uneven terrain. Liebherr's dozer range grew steadily through the 1980s, building the foundation for what is now one of the most respected crawler dozer lines in the world. The current PR776 produces 768 horsepower and is the world's largest hydrostatic dozer in production. But it was these earlier machines from the 1980s, the PR711C, the PR731, and their successors that proved the concept and built Liebherr's reputation for drivetrain innovation. Unlike the brands that disappeared, Liebherr survived and thrived because their technology was genuinely superior, not just different. Number 4. Liebherr PR751. The Liebherr PR751 is the big brother of the Liebherr range from this era, a heavy-duty crawler dozer with a 43-ton operating weight that brought the full benefits of Liebherr's hydrostatic philosophy to demanding large-scale earth-moving applications. The PR751 competed against the Caterpillar D8 and Komatsu D85 in size and application, but with Liebherr's fundamentally different drive architecture setting it apart. The PR751 was particularly effective in applications where conventional dozers showed their limitations. Side hill work where maintaining both tracks at consistent power was critical, reclamation projects where precise grade control mattered, and continuous operations where the drivetrain had to sustain heavy loads for extended periods without the overheating that plagued torque converter-equipped machines in sustained high-load work. The PR751's hydrostatic drive eliminated service brakes for downhill travel. The system itself retarded the machine's speed through what is essentially hydraulic braking, converting kinetic energy back into the hydraulic system rather than dissipating it as heat through friction brakes. This meant brake components did not wear out or fade on long downhill runs, which was a significant operational advantage in quarrying and mining applications where machines routinely traversed long grades multiple times per shift. The PR751 was later replaced by the PR752 and subsequent models as Liebherr refined and expanded their hydrostatic dozer range. But the PR751 from the 1980s was the machine that took the hydrostatic concept into genuinely heavy-duty territory, proving that the technology could compete at the serious end-of-the-earth moving market. Number 3. Fiat-Allis FD41B. The Fiat-Allis FD41B deserves its own spotlight, separate from the FD50, because this was the machine that bridged the gap between the original Allis-Chalmers HD41 legend of the early 1970s and the modernized Fiat-Allis lineup of the 1980s. The 41B retained the core architecture of the HD41, the 524 horsepower Cummins turbocharged V12 engine displacing 1,710 cubic inches, the massive 65-ton operating weight, and the jaw-dropping physical presence of a machine whose tracks came to the shoulders of a tall man. But the 41B incorporated hydraulic system improvements that addressed some of the limitations of the original HD41. The hydraulic integration for blade control was significantly improved over the earlier versions, and the overall reliability of the drivetrain was refined through the late 1970s experience with the design. When Fiat-Allis demonstrated the 41B on job sites in the late 1970s and through the 1980s, it remained the largest dozer that most European or North American contractors would ever encounter in normal commercial earth-moving work. The 41B was used extensively in coal strip mining throughout the eastern United States, in large construction projects across Europe, and in major infrastructure work in Russia and South America. It was a machine that combined American heavy industry toughness with Italian joint venture management, and while the corporate arrangement that produced it was troubled, the machine itself was regarded by operators as an extraordinary tool. Operators who ran the 41B consistently described it as deceptively easy to operate for its size. The hydraulic controls were responsive, and the machine moved with a smoothness that belied its 65-ton mass. The 41B's production era ended as the Springfield plant closed, and Fiat rationalized the lineup. But in its time, this was the European-influenced titan of the dozer world, a machine that commanded attention on any job site on Earth. Number 2. Liebherr PR752. Litronic. The Liebherr PR752 Litronic represented a quantum leap even within Liebherr's own hydrostatic dozer range. While the earlier PR models from the 1980s had established that hydrostatic drives could work reliably in heavy crawler dozers, the Litronic series added electronic management to the hydrostatic system, creating what Liebherr called a mechatronic integration of mechanical, hydraulic, and electronic systems working in concert. The Litronic system gave the PR752's operator capabilities that simply did not exist on any other dozer of the era. The engine management, hydraulic system management, and travel drive system were all electronically coordinated, allowing the machine to automatically optimize power distribution based on the working conditions. In soft ground, the system could detect track slippage and redistribute power before the operator would even notice a problem. In fine grading work, the system could provide micro-adjustments that no purely mechanical system could replicate. At 34.2 metric tons, the PR752 was a mid-large crawler dozer, competing against machines like the Caterpillar D7 and D8 in terms of application. But the Litronic's productivity advantage was measurable and real. Liebherr testing consistently showed greater fuel efficiency, higher cycle rates, and lower maintenance costs compared to equivalent conventional machines. The hydrostatic system's self-locking nature meant operators could control the machine's position on slopes with a level of precision that conventional machines simply could not offer. The PR752 Litronic became a benchmark for intelligent dozer design in Europe and gradually changed how the industry thought about dozer drivetrains. Today, Liebherr's hydrostatic technology remains unique among large crawler dozers. No other manufacturer has successfully brought a fully hydrostatic system to machines of equivalent or greater size. The PR752's 1980s innovations are still visible in every Liebherr crawler dozer built today. Number 1. Liebherr's hydrostatic revolution. At the top of our list, we are honoring not a single machine, but an entire engineering philosophy that emerged from Germany in the 1980s and permanently divided the dozer world into two camps: those who followed Liebherr's hydrostatic path and everyone else. What Liebherr achieved in the 1980s with their PR series crawler dozers was genuinely shocking to the construction industry. The company took a fundamentally different approach from every other dozer manufacturer on Earth. While Caterpillar was refining power-shift transmissions and elevated sprocket undercarriages, while Komatsu was pursuing ever larger conventional machines, and while Fiat-Allis was building massive torque converter machines, Liebherr simply eliminated the torque converter, transmission, clutches, and brakes from their crawler dozers entirely. The hydrostatic drive system that Liebherr developed and refined through their 1980s range, from the smaller PR711C through the PR731 and up to the PR751 and into the Litronic generation, required an entirely new way of thinking about how a dozer worked. Steering, speed control, grade holding, and direction changes were all accomplished through a single integrated hydraulic system. There was nothing to wear out in the conventional sense, no clutch packs to burn, no torque converter cavitation at low speeds, no brake fade on long downhill grades. The productivity implications were enormous. A Liebherr hydrostatic dozer maintained full engine power throughout its speed range, from 0 to maximum. A conventional dozer lost power through the torque converter, especially at low speeds where most pushing work was done. The Liebherr delivered its power more efficiently to the ground, and this efficiency showed up directly in production numbers. More cubic meters of material moved per liter of fuel consumed. European contractors who adopted Liebherr crawlers in the 1980s rarely went back to conventional machines. The German engineering community, through the quality of the Liebherr hydrostatic system and the reliability demonstrated over tens of thousands of working hours, proved that the conventional dozer drivetrain was not the only way, and arguably not the best way to move Earth. The 1980s Liebherr range shocked the world, not with brute size or raw horsepower, but with the elegant intelligence of the solution. While the other European dozers on this list fell to corporate consolidation, market pressure, or technological obsolescence, Liebherr's hydrostatic platform simply kept getting better. The current Liebherr PR776 produces 768 horsepower and is the world's most powerful hydrostatic dozer in production, a direct descendant of those revolutionary 1980s machines. That is the ultimate validation of what those early models started. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button and subscribe. Tell us in the comments which of these European dozers surprised you the most. And if you have ever operated a Liebherr, a Fiat-Allis, a Hanomag, or an Orenstein crawler, we want to hear your stories from the cab. Until next time, keep pushing.